Hey, welcome to Happiness Bar, where my goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. And today, we are making a pretty sick little spring cocktail here right off my spring craft cocktail menu. It's made with aged rum, apricot liqueur. We're making a rose honey syrup. We're making a saffron coriander syrup. We got lime juice. We got fresh rosebuds going on. We're gonna shake all that up, a little bit of soda water to add some bubbles. This cocktail is called Doomed Love. Sticking with the ode to Hunter S. Thompson on this menu, Doomed Love. All right, so the build for Doomed Love is 1.5 ounces of that 8-year aged Bacardi rum, a 1/2 ounce of Giffard apricot liqueur, 3/4 ounce lime juice, 3/4 ounce rose honey syrup, 1/2 ounce saffron syrup, 2 dashes of rose water. We're gonna add a whole dried rosebud into the cocktail shaker. We're gonna shake that up. We're gonna double strain it. That's served over ice. That's topped off with some soda water. And we're gonna garnish that with a little rosebud. All right, so all that being said, we got a little bit of prep to do today, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the prep work. The tools you're gonna need for the prep: you're gonna need a tablespoon, you're gonna need a cutting board, you're gonna need a knife, you're gonna need a kitchen scale, something that can weigh out grams, you're gonna need a citrus juicer, you're gonna need a spice grinder or a mortar and pestle, you're gonna need a mesh basket strainer, you're gonna need a bar spoon or something you can stir with, you're gonna need a pot, and you're gonna need some sealable storage containers. All right, so the first bit of prep we gotta do is we gotta make that saffron and coriander syrup. So the recipe for that saffron coriander syrup, we're gonna need 30 strands of saffron, 1 healthy pinch of ground coriander, 250 grams of sugar, 250 grams of water. And then basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 4 tablespoons of that sugar and all the saffron strands, and we're gonna grind that up in our spice grinder or mortar and pestle until it becomes a powder. Then we're gonna take that, as well as the other sugar and water and coriander, add that all to the pot, bring it up to a boil. So to start, let's go ahead and grab our kitchen scale and our spice grinder. We are also going to need our tablespoon, and we are going to need a container to weigh in. Place that container on there, make sure that's zeroed out. Let's grab our sugar. Got our sugar, let's weigh out our 250 grams of sugar here. Try to do it without spilling it all over the place, because I have a knack for doing that. 250 grams of sugar. All right, so we got our 250 grams of sugar. I'm just gonna place that to the side here. And we got our fresh saffron here. Now I'm gonna count out about 30 strands. It's a little tedious. 1, 2, 30. We'll just add a little extra there. All right, so we got about 30 saffron strands. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my sugar, my 250 grams, I'm gonna take 4 tablespoons out and put it in to my spice grinder here. Or if you have a mortar and pestle at home, you could do mortar and pestle as well. And then we're gonna take all 30 of our saffron strands and pour that in there with the 4 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, all that's in there. I'm just gonna go ahead and grind this up into a powder. Now, if you're using a spice grinder like this, be careful when you take the top off. This doesn't go everywhere. Gentle. Oh, we got a powder, baby. Smoky. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this into my pot carefully. Got all that saffron and that sugar all powdered and ground up in there. All right, and I'm gonna take that rest of my sugar here and add that in with the powdered sugar mixture and saffron. Then grab my scale back, turn on my scale, place my container on there, zero that out, and we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of water. All right, 250 grams of water into the pot with the sugar and the saffron. Instantly turns this golden yellow color, super cool. You'll see it when I pour it back into the container here. Next, what I'm going to do, now if you can find whole coriander pods, you could do 6 coriander pods, crack them up a little bit and then put them in. I didn't have that option because for whatever reason I couldn't find them. So I just went with the powdered coriander. It'll still do the same. It'll still get that like coriander note added in. So I just want a healthy pinch, right? So I'm gonna go like do a little 3-finger pinch, right? That's probably what about 6 coriander pods is right there. Maybe a pinch and a half. All right, and we got everything in our pot. Let's go ahead and turn our burner on to a medium-high heat. I'm gonna grab my bar spoon and we're just gonna give this a stir. And we're gonna mix it in really, really well. Nice note of saffron and coriander in the air. Beautiful. All right, so I have my saffron and coriander syrup going. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring that up to a boil, let all that sugar dissolve, and once the sugar dissolves, we're gonna pour it into a container and we're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. All right guys, so that syrup's getting close. While I'm waiting on that, I'm just gonna grab a piece of blue tape here. I'm gonna label in date, and that syrup will probably be good for up to a month refrigerated. All right guys, we got that up to just about a boil. Looks like all the sugar is dissolved. I'm gonna take my saffron syrup here, and just gonna pour this into this container and let that chill for about 30 minutes. We can just set that aside, wipe the edge, and you can see this beautiful golden color in there coming from the saffron, man, and all the little red flakes in there from the saffron. It's super pretty. Throw a lid on that so I don't spill. I'll leave it a little bit open. All right, so our saffron syrup is done. Next, we're gonna get making that rose honey syrup. The recipe for our rose honey syrup is 250 grams of honey, 250 grams of water, and 25 grams of rose water. So we're gonna need our kitchen scale. We're gonna need a container to weigh in. We're gonna place that on the scale, make sure that's zeroed out. And let's go ahead and grab our honey. And again, we're looking to weigh out 250 grams of honey. All right. 250 grams of honey. Let's get that into the pot. Next, place that container back on the scale, zero out that scale, and we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of water. 250 grams of water into the pot. Grab another container, place it on that scale, zero it back out, and we're gonna grab our rose water, and we're gonna weigh out 25 grams of rose water. All right, 25 grams, add that to the pot. So good. Go ahead and get that burner turned on to a medium-high heat, and we are just going to heat this up enough to where the honey thins out and starts to infuse into the water and the rose water. And that will give us our rose honey syrup. All right, our rose honey syrup is done. I'm just gonna grab a container, label and date as always. Go ahead and pour that in to our container. Grab a little lid, and we're gonna set that aside as well. All right guys, so the last bit of prep we gotta do for our cocktails, we gotta cut and juice our limes. Got our cutting board, we got our limes. Just gonna cut them up in half. All right, big containers left, that's okay. I'm gonna grab my citrus juicer, and we're just gonna juice these bad boys up. All right, and as always, we're gonna double strain our citrus. So let's strain it once, boom, strain it twice. All right, that's all the lime juice I'm really gonna need for today. As always, label and date. The lime juice is good for 2 days, throw it out on the 3rd day. All right guys, all our prep work is done. I got my lime juice in this cheater bottle here, my rose honey syrup in this cheater bottle here, and that saffron coriander syrup in this cheater bottle here. We are ready to roll, so let's jump in to making our doomed love. All right, this is a shaken cocktail. So first thing we're gonna need is our shaker tin. And we're gonna need our jigger. We're also gonna need our glassware. First things first, cheapest ingredients, most expensive ingredients, we need 3/4 ounce lime juice. And we need 3/4 ounce of our rose honey syrup. Next we need a 1/2 ounce of that saffron syrup. We need a 1/2 ounce of the Apricot Liqueur. And we need 1.5 ounces of our aged rum. 2 dashes of rose water, just to fortify that rose a little more. And we want to throw 1 whole rosebud into the cocktail shaker as well. So when you shake that up, it's going to get these nice rose flecks into the cocktail. It's really cool. Let's grab the large side of our shaker tin, and we're going to grab some ice. Fill that cocktail shaker to the top. Fill up that glassware with ice. There we go. Seal up your shaker tin and shake for 12 seconds as always. 12 seconds, I shook my sleeves off. Roll your sleeves back up with attitude. Grab your Hawthorne strainer and your basket strainer. And let's double strain that cocktail, as always. Yeah. See those nice little rose flecks in the cocktail. Little flecks of saffron. Now, let's top that cocktail with soda water. Add in some bubbles. Grab my bar spoon, just give it a little stir to agitate and to mix those bubbles in. And lastly, I'm gonna grab a beautiful little rose gold toothpick here, and we're gonna make a little skewer of roses. I'm just gonna run that right down. You know, I was gonna do one rose, but I think I'm gonna do 3. Something about 3 sounds nice. Oh yeah. Got that little rose bud skewer. And there it is, guys, the Doomed Love. Look how pretty, man. Let's taste this cocktail. Definitely get the rose and the saffron on the nose big with the rum for sure. Yo. Balanced. It's thirst quenching immediately. The acidity from the lime, that touch of bitterness you get from the rose is really awesome. Perfectly sweet with that saffron and honey syrup and that mixture there. The aged rum really comes through. The apricot comes through just a little bit. It's really nice. God, I love this cocktail, man. I forgot how much I love this cocktail. You can't beat it, man. This might be one of my favorites I've ever made. This cocktail is so enjoyable, man. Enjoy this on your spring days and nights to Doomed Love and hoping your love isn't doomed. This cocktail is a winner for sure for the spring, guys. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Maybe you made it along with me. Maybe you wrote it down, save for a later date. Either way, let me know how you're liking everything. And as always, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone.